I know I'm supposed to come on to record this video and be all like dressed and fabulous and not in my bonnet and not in the morning, but it's been a while since I've recorded anything, since I've been on camera. Um, I took 2 months to kind of back off of the story I was working on because it doesn't feel like anymore that that story is the story that is supposed to be next. I've watched all of these other creators talk about how they're finishing their series that they started, and I think I'm going to take a page out of their book, and I've decided that it is in my best interest to work on the next book in my Transgender Diva series, which I have titled Unseen. And I just got done reading the end of the book and I cried. Because sometimes in this journey, you can't really tell how important a story is to you until you read over it again. And I know you get flack for showing any kind of emotion on YouTube or being real and authentic about what you feel, but I felt something when I read the ending of that story. Um, so that is the story that I want to tell. That is the story that I want to work on for November. And so no matter how unstable this may make me look to you, this is real. This is me. And my writing is important to me. The books that I put out into the world are important to me. And this story deserves to be told. And so I'm going to focus on this story for November, Unseen, rather than focusing on my novella and focusing on Shadiya Greer Eats the Stage, because I thought that those were the stories that I was meant to tell next. But I think now that I need to finish my series. And I have two of them running right now. And I want to finish them because I think it's important to finish what we start. So here's to the end of one journey and the beginning of another. Here we go. Why this story? Why now? So, the biggest reason I realized that I wanted to work on this story after some reflection is because I want to finish the series that I started before moving on to something else so that I can bring the two series that I have to conclusion. So that is a big reason why I wanted to do this story now. The other reason that I wanted to work on this story is because we live in very tumultuous times, and when I originally started the Transgender Diva series, it was because I wanted to present us as very human, because we are, and I wanted to really create stories that placed us in situations that really anyone could go through, because I think sometimes as a trans person, people think because you're trans that you're not normal, that there is something different about you, but we bleed the same, we emote the same, we feel the same things and want the same things out of life that everyone else does. And just because we live our life and we paint our lives with a different paintbrush does not mean that we are not human beings. And so I wanted to create very human stories. And so that was the beginning of the first story in this series called Unmasked. And it also will continue in the second story, Unseen. So, I'll talk more about what the story is about as I keep going through these videos. But for now, I think that that is what I wanted to touch on. Why this story and why now? So, what is my goal for November? My goal is to get as much of the story written and prepped for my alpha reader before the end of the month. Because as of, I guess, January 1st, I would like to have enough of the novel in the third draft done for me to begin to send for my alpha reader to begin to read those first chapters. I have to get insight from other people on my projects, which has been a failure of mine in the past, and I want to break that cycle moving forward. So, long story short, my goal is to make sure that I am completing this third draft to the best that I can make it right now so that I can have my alpha reader read it. So tonight, what I did was I have been working on chapter two. Chapter two is kind of a long chapter and it's kind of a flashback chapter because um, I felt like it was really important to flash back to and kind of set up some of the events that have led my main character, Lainey, to this place. I like writing in flashbacks to show that. Um, because when I watch television, I love seeing how a person got to be where they are. And so in my books, I try to do the same thing. So tonight I've been working on chapter two. I only worked on a small portion of chapter two. I finished a scene um, because it's pretty late here. It's like 10:54 right now, and I am exhausted. But I wanted to do some writing tonight. I don't really count words or anything like that. I don't count new words or any of that. I just try to go in and figure out if the story is working or if I need to tweak some things. And as of right now, I feel like I want to keep the things there that are there in chapter two, but that may change, especially once I get feedback. So I wanted to come on today and tell you what I've been up to, what my goals are, and where I am in the story. And I'm not that far in, but I'm just happy to be back in the story again because it has been a long time and I really, really, really am excited about the story that I'm telling here. So, anyway, good night. So, how did week one go? Well, the simple answer is it went very slowly. I had to remind myself this week that this is the first time that I was diving back into this story. And sometimes that takes patience. And it takes understanding that sometimes I don't have because sometimes I look too far ahead into the future. But what I'm coming to realize is that I want each piece, each book that I put out into the world to be the best that it can possibly be. So I only got through the first 2 chapters of this book. But I also have to remember my goal, which is to give this to an alpha reader to read. I plan on only having 1 alpha reader, but at least 5 or 6 beta readers once I'm ready for beta readers. And so right now, I realize that I don't have to have the manuscript completely revised by the time that I get ready to start the alpha read. So the main goal for me is to make sure that I'm revising and editing with a very keen eye to the details that I want to include in the story that are going to be most important to the story overall. And also cleaning up, word usage and description and things like that, which honestly, the act of description is one of the hardest things for me. So that is something that I'm paying particular attention to. But overall, I felt like it was a good week, especially because it's been a while since I've been in this story. And I was just really excited to be back writing again since I haven't been writing. And so with that, we're at the end of this video. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad to be back, and I will be back with a update and new video next week. Hope all of your November projects are going well, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.